Hello, my dear friends. I'm going to talk to you today about some Indian lore. Many of the words and names we encounter every day come directly from the language of the various Indian tribes that populated North America hundreds of years before the coming of the Europeans. They spoke so many different languages that it was impossible, except in a very few cases, for the tribes to understand one another. To overcome this difficulty, they came up with something ingenious. The Indians invented a sign language, and they were able to communicate concepts with each other through that. In addition, the Indians also offered in their costumes and handicrafts and general ways of living. In the following that I'm going to share with you, we're going to take a look at a few of these things which were kind of universal with the Native American Indians. First, let's look at the coup. The coup, or war honors, were granted to men who showed great bravery in battle. The highest honor it was possible to get was that given for touching a living enemy with the bare hand or with a coup stick. Smaller honors were allowed for the capture of a gun or a shield, or for killing and scalping an enemy. Greater credit was allowed for touching a living foe because it took a lot more courage to touch him and leave him unhurt than it did to strike him down. Another high honor was given to the first warrior to touch a fallen enemy. This was because in order to touch such a man, a brave had to be well in front of the charge. Now, exploit feathers. Some Indians wore single feathers of 3 or 4 of them bunched together to show war honors. And by the way, feathers that showed the way the feather was adjusted, one could tell why the wearer was entitled to wear it. For example, a feather sticking straight up from the scalp lock showed that the wearer had touched an unwounded enemy with his hand or coup stick on it. The war shirt was very important in many tribes. Like the war bonnet, the war shirt trimmed with hair or weasel skins was believed to have a great protective power and emanate potent medicine. It could be worn only on very special occasions and only by men in power or by those who had earned the right to use it. A belief among the whites had the hair on this shirt coming from the scalps of the red man's enemy, but was very unusual, and most of the time it came from the warrior's wife or from his own locks. Each lock tied to the shirt represented a coup won by wounding, taking prisoners, capturing an enemy's horse, or saving a friend's life. The pipe. Smoking was extremely important to all the Native American tribes that I've read about, and here in the Great Lakes region, they looked at smoking as a very sacred thing. In many religious ceremonies and their prayers, they would pray as they were smoking, and believed that the smoke wafting up through the air would take their prayer to Gitchimanitu, the creator spirit. In Indian lore, the pipe has always been foremost in councils as an emblem of peace and of friendship. To the Indian, smoking was a religious rite and indulged in only solemn occasions. An Indian smoked to stop storms, to make game plentiful, to rout his foes, to bring a blessing on whatever he wished. Only the older men smoked, as the young ones believed it made them short-winded. How correct they were. Really. Pipes were used as flags of truce between warring tribes, or used by messengers as a passport. They were of many different shapes and were made from bone, clay, hardwood, and stone. The stems nearly always were made from ash and wrapped in fur and decorative quill work. They did smoke, though, for solace. I know legends of the Indian Great Lakes say that when times were down, food was scarce, they were down about whatever, smoking a pipe was something that would bring them back grounded to reality, or to console them. Kind of like, I don't like smoking cigarettes. There's nothing good about them, and yet I smoke them, particularly when I'm feeling stressed. And so the Indians, or Native Americans, did that also. The shield was used by most Plain Indians. They carried shields made from tough buffalo hide, and it was very tough too. It was valued more for the spiritual protection and powerful medicine it was supposed to have than for warding off spears and arrows. Its protective power was in the design and other decorations painted on it. The ideas for these decorations were received in dreams and in ceremonies and rites held by the medicine men. And lastly, I want to talk to you a little bit about the war bonnet. The war bonnet, the Indian's war bonnet, had special significance to the wearer. It was only worn on very special occasions. In this, too, the value of the headdress was not in its magnificent appearance, which they were magnificent, but in the very potent medicine it was supposed to carry. Its sacred power was supposed to protect its wearer in battle, and it could only be worn by the consent of the warrior's fellow tribesmen. To wear a bonnet, a brave had to accumulate enough honors to entitle him to it. These were earned by personal bravery, and the bonnet was made of eagle feathers attached to a soft buckskin skull cap. This is a long strip of buckskin was attached, the feathers, and they were fastened to it for the tail. Each feather was an honor, and sometimes a warrior would have so many honors that it was necessary to have two tails on his headdress. Well, I hope you enjoyed this look at some of the lore of the Native American Indian, a fascinating, intelligent, and very colorful culture. And so I will be back with you again real soon, God willing. Love you all on the other side of that monitor. Stay well, stay safe, stay happy, and blessed. See y'all soon.